Hey everyone, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be analyzing Splatoon 2 Splatfest to predict if there will be another Encore Splatfest and which Splatfest would be the Encore. So, the last Encore Splatfest was May 22nd and rehashed the Mayo vs Ketchup Splatfest, which, let's be honest, Mayo vs Ketchup is one of the oddest themes you could have for people to vote on. One, in general, for having a Splatfest based on sauces, and two, weird as in choice of sauces. Like, have you ever heard anyone say, do you want ketchup or mayo? No, you hear people say ketchup or mustard. Ketchup or mustard would 100% be a way better Splatfest in terms of equal voting and choice of theme. But that's besides the point. Although if it were up to me, I wouldn't have a sauce-based Splatfest at all. I think this Splatfest specifically was chosen because of its unequal votes cast. Only about 26% of players chose mayo and about 78% of players chose ketchup. I remember this was a big deal as I was playing the Splatfest. I would a majority of the time play only ketchup players and rarely actually played against other mayo teams. This sparked some controversy at the time but was soon forgotten as the next Splatfest rolled in. So, I believe in terms of replayability for another Splatfest, it would next probably be a Splatfest which had very uneven teams. If we look at the voting percentage on all the Splatfests, I would say the following teams were the most uneven. We had Ice Cream vs Cake, Love vs Money, Pulp vs No Pulp, and Modern vs Retro. Each of these have uneven votes from anywhere around 35% or less on one team or 65% or more on the other. So if we're basing Encores off unevenness of votes, these teams would be the most likely to get an Encore. Ice Cream vs Cake, of the four I picked, is most likely to get an Encore with a ratio of 76% Ice Cream votes and 24% Cake votes. Retro vs Modern had 68% of votes for Modern and 31% voting for Retro, so they're second most likely to get an Encore. Love vs Money and Pulp vs No Pulp had very similar ratios, so in no particular order, they would be third most likely to get an Encore. It is also likely that there would be Splatfests for rematches or revenge. I would categorize these as all the Splatfests that resulted in a knockout of 3-0 would be placed in the running for possible Encores. There are 8 Splatfests total that resulted in a knockout. The first Splatfest where this occurred was Vampires vs Werewolves, followed by Sweaters vs Socks, Retro vs Modern, Salsa vs Guacamole, Waffle vs Pancake, Teleportation vs Time Travel, Narwhal vs Unicorns, and finally the final Splatfest, Chaos vs Order, resulted in a knockout of 3-0. If all of these were to be rehashed out in the future, it would be most likely in this order, with Chaos vs Order being last. There is the possibility for a third Splatoon, which would mean all new Splatfests, but as people speculate that it would come out late or mid-fall 2020, I don't think this is the case at all. Splatoon 2 was announced January 12, 2017 and released July 21, 2017. Splatoon for Wii U was announced during E3 2014, which was June 10th to June 12th, and released May 29th, 2015. So if that's any indication, if Splatoon 3 were to come out anytime in 2020, we definitely would have heard about it already. Plus, the last Splatfest for Splatoon Wii U was July 22nd, 2016, and Splatoon 2 was released a year later. As far as we know, there hasn't been a last Splatfest, therefore Splatoon 3 could not release this year, but possibly minimum sometime in 2021. I also feel like Splatoon is a console generation exclusive, like Super Smash Bros. How there's one Smash game per new console, there would probably be one Splatoon game per new console. And console generations usually last around 5 to 6 years or more, so I have a good feeling that Splatoon 3 won't be coming anytime in the near future. Thank you all for watching today's video. As always, if you liked today's discussion and you want to see more videos like these, click the head in the cold ramen and I'll see you guys in the next one.